The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 2nd day of November, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical Wells, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman, and it's the 2nd day of November already.
Already.
I mean, we were just on the 1st.
We was just in October. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's times are flying, Sherry.
It is. Thanksgiving is, now what, 24 days away?
Yeah.
I think, if it's only 25th. Was it only 26th? One of those days. Anyway, it's coming on. And then we got Christmas right after that. So it's like,
yeah.
Mercy.
We can get this to a later date, but since you mentioned Christmas, you have time. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Leanna's gonna be with you in a bit, folks. She's well rested. Look, we spoke about it. We have to kind of beg Leanna to take a day off. She's just showbiz.com, man. Like, even her birthday, like, Lee, take a day. No, I guess Lee, take a day off. Like, she's just showbiz. Just Baltimore. And
I was gonna say, you don't have nothing to worry about when it comes to my birthday, Jamal. Yeah.
Sherry be like, I'm off, bro.
It's a holiday. Yeah. It's usually a holiday. Just so you know, it falls on a queen's birthday sometimes. So, or Heroes Day.
Right. So she'd be all parted out, folks. She'd be all parted out. Leanna back if you bring you the smiles and the news. So don't go anywhere. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as film producer Hafiz Steele stops by to talk about Hustlerz Paradise, some locally produced entertainment and involving local actors. So this is pretty cool, and I love to see Bermudians in this space doing their thing, using the resources available to them, and I'm trying to grow in a space that Bermuda's not known for. So looking forward to having the conversation. The daily players will remember when. So this is relatively easy. I would say. What?
Okay.
Oh, I always say that.
Yeah, you do.
No, it's easy. It's easy. Okay. It's very easy. But folks, we have an important conversation this morning before we even get to our guest and before we bring Leanna in for the news break. So, the purpose of this show is to kind of have conversations about things that can improve our lives, improve the community. One of the things I noticed on Good Day Bermuda today with Terry and Jackie, and if you've never seen Good Day Bermuda, folks, please check them out. A great episode today. They spoke about, certain Black men in the community that are, they basically were honoring Black men in the community. And it was a good conversation, very engaging with their audience, and definitely appreciate them. And if you don't follow them on even Instagram, follow them because they have go do Instagram lives at times as well. But like, I say that to say this, the purpose of these shows is, to make sure that we're discussing things that are relevant, important, and things that we can learn from. And so one of the things I said to Sherry last night, I'm like, instead of looking at the news and reflecting and revisiting a news story, I have a question for the audience. I have a question for us. We come from a generation and an era where many of our parents led us on a path to go to college, right? You know, we have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, whatever degrees. Those degrees cost a lot of money, right? And this is not to knock formal education, because I'd be a fool to do that. With the amount of money that my mother invested in me, per se. But then there's the other side of it, of the business side, right? And it's like, well, hold on. You asked the question that people have been asking for years on social media. Why is it's easier to get a loan to go to college than to start a business? Right? Mm-hmm. So the question of the morning for the audience, if you were offered $100,000 to cover college tuition and fees, or start a business, which would you choose? That's the question of the day. If you were offered $100,000 to cover college or start a business, which would you choose?
And you say cover college, that's for the whole 4 years, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying 100,000 is going to college the
all
4, but just assume that it covers all 4 years. Correct.
Okay. And I say it like that because it's a very hard decision for me. Because I did come up in that era where go to college, get yourself a government job, and so forth. And not so much the business side of things. So Sherry back then would take the money to go to school. Do I have a choice of splitting myself? Sherry now would probably would bet on herself in the era and generation that we're in to start a business. Although even saying start a business to me, it still sounds very scary, knowing some of the things that you have to go through.
Yeah.
And it's a lot that you have to go through in the sense of, licensing things, incorporating things, and understanding. So I love the question because in both, not everybody's a business person, but you have to know that for yourself. People at times make, owning a business look so glamorous and look so wonderful, and you can do this, that, and the other, but people don't see the background and the hard work. To me, could sometimes mirror college. Because you're up all night doing your testing, you're studying this, that, and the other. Same thing with a business. You have to study what it is that you are trying to be in business with. I don't know, Jamal. For me right now, yes, I probably would take the money.
But Sister Sherry, and that's what I want people to understand. There's no right or wrong answer with this. There really isn't, because I think you explained it in a way to say, you know what works for one may not work for another. Some people don't have any business acumen. They may say operating a business isn't for me. But guess what? You could take that 100,000 and invest it in 4 different businesses. 25, 25, 25, 25. You can, look at a college. Now say I said $100,000, right? I never said 4-year degree. I never said 6 years. I never said 2 years. The same way different businesses require different things and amounts of money, so do different colleges. So you can pay for college with $40,000 or $20,000. It depends on what school you go,
right?
What your program is. But I guess again, let's go. We're going to go to the audience because people they have their opinions. They're ready.
You blew it up, Jamal. You blew it up.
Let's go to the audience. The question of the morning again, folks, is if you were offered $100,000 to cover college or start a business, which would you choose? All right. Marquita Lee to Angeline Butler, Sherry.
Definitely start a business. Okay. Business. All right. Can I deviate and pay off my mortgage? No, seriously, start a business, Angeline.
Headley and Stevenson Swan says, Mercy Jamal, your questions are simply phenomenal. I love it. No, Sherry said it was a crazy question last night. We went through. She's like, no, wait, nah. Honestly, it's simply what I think that conversations we probably don't have that we probably should, not for necessarily our benefit, but the benefit of our community. Are we still pushing the next generation in the right direction? Should we be pushing them in another direction to become is college the foundation of a degree still needed? I would say there are some things that if I want to go to a doctor who's had specified training, right? I want to go to maybe a lawyer who I know has specified training. If you tell me a business person, like I want to go to an accountant, I just want someone who can count and know numbers and get it right for me. Does that take 4 years or 2 years or 6 years of college to do so? Probably not.
Yeah, I think if you're looking from a parental standpoint, I think you need to groom your children into what it is that they need to, and what it is that they are supposed to. So for me, my first major was fashion merchandising, but then I was told, "What, you gonna work at Trimmingham's? You know what Trimmingham's is?"
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
joking.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
just
yeah.
joking. What, you gonna work at Trimmingham's? Like, and all of those kind of things is what was told to me. You need to get a government job. And then a friend of mine was like, "Girl, be a social worker." I'm like, okay. And I went and changed. And I just happened to be good at it. Wasn't necessarily always my passion. My passion is what I'm doing right now, along with fashion merchandising. So I do still say to parents to hone in on what it is that your children are really good at. It may not make sense to send them to a 4-year college if they're not academic, or that's not what they want to do, or it's a different age now.
Yeah, and no, I agree. I think to your point, I remember there was an era where parents would be like, "Well, I'm paying for it. You'll do what I say you're doing," right? But I think it's important to try to support what they want to do. Try to you never know what can happen. Don't let the place in where you live now limit you from where you could be. And I think that was the attitude I noticed in Bermuda when I was younger. It was a very limiting attitude towards what people wanted to do. If that child wanted to go do dance, they would say, "Well, there's no opportunities in Bermuda." Why are we thinking just Bermuda? Think bigger, think beyond Bermuda.
And that's the thing. I had the opportunities, and guess what? I never came back to Bermuda after when I finished my undergrad. I went back for 2 years, and then after my master's, I never came back. So it's like I had the opportunities in front of me to do all of these great things that I wanted to do, and I didn't. And now at this stage in my life.
She said stage. That she welcomed something, but see, I'm being disciplined. I didn't say anything. See, she set me up right there. I could have went. But question of the morning, folks: if you were offered $100,000 to college, or start a business, which would you choose? Nicole Walker says, "Good morning, start a business." Michelle White, business. However, if I was young, the idea of running a business may not be in my mind, so I may have chosen university. But now I would invest in my own business if only I knew then what I know now. Richard Augustus says, business, hindsight is 2020. Business is hard, but so is 40 years of servitude of building someone else's dream is harder mentally. And Nikki Michelle says, I take the 100,000 and pay an expert and study under them and forego both. Wow.
Interesting.
I love it, Nikki, bringing the wisdom today. I appreciate that. I think that's the level of thinking that I want to say I really appreciate, and I hope that collectively we can all be there one day at our own speed. But I hope we can all be there. Teresa Ann Marie and Janae Pereira Edness, Sherry.
Good morning. I think the wise decision would be based on one's strengths at the time. Preparedness meeting opportunity equals success. I like that quote.
We have a brilliant audience, honestly. We have a brilliant audience.
Laugh out loud. I was saying the same thing. Buy a house, but start a business for sure.
Well, that's another argument. People say, well, what do? Buy a house or a business, start a business? If you have a business idea, do you start the business and then bank on that to pay off the house? Or do you buy the house and pay that off and then try to have the business as well? There's so much to this. And again, folks, there's no right answers with this. Every person, every situation is going to be different. Circumstances are different. And it's almost like we're having these conversations just so that we can consider things outside of what we were taught is the norm. The norm, especially in the Black community, was to go to university and get a degree, then come out and get a job. We literally have not been taught to be entrepreneurs. We have not been taught to have our own. We have not been taught to even be self-employed, right? So it's not about just breaking the chain, but it's about helping people realize there are opportunities beyond what has been considered the norm. That's it. This is not to say that, oh, Sherry, sending people to college is crazy. Why are they going to college? They want to do that. They could go start a bit. No. We're not going to belittle people who choose that route. That route may be in their best interest, but the conversation to understand there are other options there. That's the important part.
You would notice that a lot of entrepreneurs, if you think about it, come out of low income situations, right? Because they've been taught that you need to hustle, you got to sell, you got to do this. When you think about music industry people like Master P, who, started from the ground and hustled. And when you look at some other elite families, they go to college. You know what I mean? So it's interesting in the different dynamics when you talk about economic status as well, that one status can have the opportunity of both. Both of them actually can, depending on the situation. So it's just interesting in the mindset.
I think that's another conversation we need to have. But I think you're speaking about more the self-employed than the entrepreneur, and I think that's something that I think Black people, especially in business, need to understand. There's a difference. Being self-employed means you're literally doing the work, right? That means you're hustling. Being an entrepreneur doesn't. Being an entrepreneur, your business makes money and works for you. You're just the person, pretty much. You are the investor. You could be the decision maker. But I think it's important for us as Black people to have that conversation, because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe in the hustle. I believe in, creating time and making sure, like, I'm going to use, Liana. That's why I want Liana to take her days. Like, yo, sis, last week when she said Liana was up to 1 a.m. She started doing the news, folks. Like, Lee, take a break. Like, we don't want to, kill you, sister. But I say that because, I appreciate people who hustle. I do. But I also appreciate that you have lives. You have to rest. You have to, like, going back to what Keisha was saying on Friday, dealing with stress. You don't want to kill yourself trying to make a living. Think about that.
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself trying to make a living. So I appreciate the hustle. I understand the hustle. I do. But we have to understand the difference between self-employed hustle and the entrepreneurship. And let's go to some comments because we are out of time. Renita Graham saying university definitely don't have the business hustle. Again, business could mean invest in that, as I stated, into business opportunities. Just yesterday it was reported. What's the drink? Was it Body Armor that Coca-Cola purchased for about $8 billion? I think that's the drink.
I think so.
Yeah, Kirby Bryant invested $6 million in it. Today his share is worth $400 million. That's business. That's what I mean. Starting a business could mean just investments. It doesn't mean you actually doing the work. That's where our minds have to shift and be framed for us to understand that business is not just about going and starting this and you doing the work. It could be what you're putting your investments and your time into. Let's go through Carla, John, and Michelle to keep Vonnie for you, Sherry.
Okay. I would definitely take the education. I'd probably change my major from education to finance and make money investing in other people's businesses. I like that.
I love it.
The next generation should be guided to hybrid careers, what they want to do and how they can turn it into their own business. Yeah. Too much free money in Bermuda for university. Put that towards a business. Interesting.
Indeed. Bobby Painter says facts. Thank you. Janae Perra, and this mind you going to college and doing business really did fuel my desire to be an entrepreneur. And again, I will never regret any of my college experiences for whatever reasons. The relationships that I developed, the opportunities that I received. Would I have received some of them had I not gone to college, both at the undergrad and graduate level? So I appreciate it, and it probably isn't in anyone's best interest to dismiss the things that come along with the college experience. Bobby Painter saying there is a difference, and I believe she's talking about self-employed and entrepreneurship. Nikki Michelle says, I ain't got a lick of hustle in me. I walked through my sports day races at nursery school.
Nikki, I do not believe that. I did not.
But you know what? She's an entrepreneur. And
Yeah.
that goes to show, like, entrepreneurship doesn't mean that you have to be somewhat of a hustler. It's an opportunity to make money in the way that you want to.
And
There are
I'm
a lot of
sure
people
Nikki
who
did
don't
it
lift a
cute.
pen. There are a lot of people that don't lift a pen that make more money than people that are lifting brick after brick after brick after hour. So um, let's bring Leanna into the situation, see what Lee's doing. Should I put her on the spot today? Should I put her on the spot? Hey Lee, how you doing? Sherry here talking about.
As
Oh, we
if
should put her on the
I
spot.
can hear you. Good morning.
You hear me now?
I do. I
think she turned me down. She didn't want to hear what Sherry was trying to say about her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you should have heard her, Lee.
See, stays throwing people under the bus,
should've heard
Sherry.
I
He
know,
stays doing
reels
it.
forward and reels back, just like,
Let him be.
yeah.
I would just take it as he missed me. That's all.
Yes, I did. But Lee, where's your flowers? You have flowers there,
I
right?
know. Listen. What had
Just spread it
happened
out there,
was-
Jamal.
No.
So this is what happened. I neglected my house last week because, as you know, it was the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, and I barely saw my house last week. I was up 6:30 in the morning. I was there till about 8 o'clock in the evening. It was long days. It was fun, but I literally came in and slept. However, Exhibit A shows you that if you do not take care of the flowers, they will die.
Well, yeah. What did we have a name for your flower?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That was what you were for, Mal.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on now.
Okay. Well, I just want to prop a memorial for your flowers. So, Lee Junius, we appreciated you during the time, and we missed you. But we're happy to have you back, Lee. Obviously, I just hope the community appreciates what you're out there doing. It's a lot, and I followed as much of the golf as I could through social media. And yes, thank you for
No, I mean, it was exciting. Despite the weather, we had 2 good days. We had 2 hurricane-looking weather days, but I mean, everybody still came out and had a good time. I have to admit, it was a well-run event. Kudos to Sean and Danielle and the team. Justin, those guys did an excellent job at pulling off what they could again for the second year during a pandemic. So, it was really exciting to see everybody out there. It felt like we were outside again,
outside events. Well,
yeah.
Glad you refreshed, Lee. And let's go to the news break. Over to you. And yeah, we didn't get one yesterday, so it's probably gonna be jam-packed, ain't it?
Oh, is it ever?
All right, over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and happy Tuesday to every one of you that's tuned in with us this morning. I hope you all are having a great start to your day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now, yesterday's monthly arraignment session saw one man handed a trial date after he was accused of causing a boat accident that sadly killed a man, while 3 others appeared on charges with separate murders. Now, in the first matter, 35-year-old Mikado Burchell will face trial in the Supreme Court on April 18th next year after pleading guilty in 2019 to the manslaughter of Adrian Hassel and piloting a marine vessel while impaired by alcohol. The incident is alleged to have happened on January 1st. In 2019. Meanwhile, Shayuni Smith and Ricardo Tucker Jr., who were both 18 years of age, were charged with the murder of Dwayne Gibbons, who was alleged to have been stabbed to death in Blue Hole Hill in Hamilton Parish on September 16th. Now, these 2 did not have to enter a plea, or they have not yet entered a plea to the charges. And in a separate matter, 23-year-old Devin Hill also appeared in court charged with the murder of Joshua Rawls and possession of a bladed article in public. Now, this incident is alleged to have happened on June 14th last year outside the Rubis gas station on South Road in Warwick. In other news, Bermuda has sadly recorded 3 more corona-related deaths, bringing the total death toll since the start of the pandemic in 2020 to 104. Now, there were 10 new cases among the more than 6,000 latest test results. There are just 66 active cases on the island under watch by health officials, with a total of 10 people in hospital and 2 of them in the intensive care. We here at the Daily Hour extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of the victims. And you might have received photos yesterday of a van overturned in the waters off St. David's Roads. While pictures quickly circulated after emergency services were called to fish out a van, which is apparently to have said to have slid off the road just after 5 a.m. near the swing bridge on St. David's Road near St. George's. Now, following a search of the vehicle, it was discovered that no one was inside. Police and the Coast Guard carried out an extensive search of the area on land and sea, but they say there was nothing found to indicate anyone was injured in the incident. However, according to police, the van had been stolen. Now, anyone with any information are asked to contact police immediately. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 78 and a low near 71 degrees. Today will be generally sunny with a low chance of a brief shower or two. Now, mostly dry weather with a light breeze continues through midweek as a ridge of high pressure gradually builds across the area. Now, sunny days and partly cloudy nights will ensue despite the very low chance of the odd shower. Low pressure then approaches later in the week, bringing an increase in cloud and the potential for showers. So get those umbrellas ready. That's all for the Daily Hour news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But here's a little helpful tip from your favorite community pharmacist. Now, everyone right now is taking zinc. It's great for our immune system, but please take it after your food. Too many people take it first thing in the morning and suffer stomach pains for the rest of the day. Now, you can trust your People's Pharmacist for helpful, simple tips on supplementing safety. Now, let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
Thanks so much for that, Lee. And man, so sad to hear about more COVID deaths. But
yes.
Thank you for that. And better days are ahead. So we will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. God willing.
Have a wonderful day.
See you guys later.
Alrighty. Thanks again to Leanna for that. And we're going to take a quick break. We're coming right back with Hafiz. We're talking Hustlerz Paradise Films. Brilliant, talented guy right here. You don't want to miss it, folks. Stay tuned.
This month, we're bringing back an old favorite distributed by John Barrett & Son Limited, a thirst-quenching European treat, Orangina, made from orange, lemon, mandarin, and grapefruit juices. Orangina brings us the flavor of the Mediterranean in a distinctive pear-shaped bottle. Orangina originated in France in the early 1930s and is now one of the world's favorites, a natural thirst quencher containing real fruit pulp. In fact, the makers of Orangina recommend we gently shake the pulp to enjoy the full fruity flavor. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Let's bring in our guest for the day, bit behind. Hafiz, he is, I'm going to say, a talented guy. We've had people that have asked us to have him on the show for a number of months now. And, folks, I just look at the calendar and say, accept the invite. So, we get the guest. I'm like, here we are. Here we have him. And let's get engaged and learn how we can support this talented brother as he gives Bermudians a platform to do something that, to be honest, we were talking about college. Many Bermudians are discouraged from going and studying, whether it's film, whether it's acting, whether it's music. So hopefully he can inspire some parents who have children that have these ambitions out there. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How's everything?
We are good. We are good. I I see. Is that your own HP? Is that your own?
Yes, Hustlerz Paradise.
All right. So he's doing a thing.
Yes.
Some merch.
But, all we have is a mug, but no, but for real, thank you for stopping by. Obviously you have a lot of people out there that support you, people who have reached out to us to want to have you on this show to discuss what you do and how it benefits Bermuda and Bermudians. But before we get into that, just give us a bit of your background. How did you get into film production?
To be honest, the same way the average Bermudian learns how to swim. Their parents just throw them in the water, right? I just jumped in and feet first. I went to school for communications, so I have a communications degree. So writing came easy. I started writing, and at the time, I had no idea on how to write a script. I had no idea on script format. I just wrote, and then I hooked up with a couple individuals who can help me pull it through. Shane Woodley, he was my editor. Rais Tanker, the camera guy, and we put it together.
Okay, and I'm intrigued by this because it's you have I don't like to say accent, but obviously you grew up in the U.S.
Yes. I left Bermuda when I was 2. Came back to Bermuda about 10 years ago, and here I am.
All right. I just want a bit of background there as well. Well, for those who don't know, what is Hustlerz Paradise, and where did the idea for this particular film production come from?
Watching other web series. So Hustlerz Paradise is basically, I like to call it Bermuda's version of Power. And that's simply put. I got inspired from watching what's the show called? Money and Violence. There was another one called Respect Life. Those were based out of Brooklyn. So after being inspired by that, I decided to try my hand and write in the script. So if you notice, those of you who have watched all 8 episodes, you will see the progression as we tend to get better, and we've gotten better from episode 1 right up to episode 8. And after season 1, I took a class with a young lady named Sia Spence, who has gone away and majored in film and directing. So I had her put a course together for me over a span of 15 weeks, 2 hours every Saturday for 15 weeks. And she pretty much showed me how to write a script, how to direct. And you will see that exercised in the movie that we did, Sincere, Love Hella Right.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out too. What's it like? Obviously, being in Bermuda, you're creating these films. Speak to us about what it's like working with Bermudian talent. We often we don't hear about many Bermudians in this space doing a lot of this work. We can name off on our hands how many Bermudians. Lana Young. You've got Darren Herbert overseas. But what's it like working with Bermudian talent based in Bermuda?
Well, it's been challenging, right? However, especially the first go around, I was looking for authenticity because Bermuda is so small. It's a small community, so people tend to know each other. And when it came down time to casting, I didn't want to cast someone for a specific role, and the audience are looking like, that's not believable. I know that guy. He went to Salters. There's no way he could be involved in that, or something like that, right? So I went for authenticity. So I pretty much rounded up everyone who was believable. And then we just worked on acting, right? A lot of times when it comes down to acting, most people just have to be themselves. If you have a good writer who can write the script to suit someone's personality, it's easier for them to be themselves than to act. If you tell someone to sneak across the room, they're going to tippy toe and be real obvious, and it's not going to look real. But if you tell someone, I need you to get from that side to that side without anyone seeing you, it's going to be a little more realistic. So by going for authenticity and rounding up the individuals who were a little more believable, it made it easier on my part as far as when it came time to directing. Most people, they have talent. Most people, it was just untapped talent that most of them have realized that they had. There was a handful that it came natural because I wasn't strict when it came to the script. When it came to the script, a lot of individuals are allowed to ad lib because I speak with an American dialect, right? And initially, the cast would come, and when they read for the part, because they hear my accent, they're reading with an American accent, and I have to advise them, no, I need you to read with your accent. I speak with an American dialect. I need you to speak with a Bermudian accent and say how you would say it, right? So yeah, there was a lot of behind the scenes jokes where I would try to mimic a Bermudian accent, and they'll tease me. But yeah.
I want to hear it. Let's hear a little. What's up, bro? Safe?
Wagwan, big man.
This guy. Yeah, Shay.
Nevis, hey, boy. What you doing? So, like, what does Bermudians have to do as a whole to support the film industry, like locally? Like, what do we need to do?
Well, there's a checklist of things. One, you could go to the web series on YouTube, check that out. You could probably binge watch all 8 episodes. Second, you could check out the film Sincere Love Hella Right. That we put that on Vimeo to try to generate some income. So you could rent that film on our Vimeo page for $12.99. All right. And then second, try to talk to the powers that be to allow them to be creators, to allow us to be creators without handcuffing us. And, there really is no industry down here. So literally what we were doing is something called rogue filming. And that's literally asking for permission after the fact, right? We kind of got in some trouble. We were filming at City Hall. Actually, I was filming a part at City Hall, and we had some prop guns involved, and someone took a picture because it looked real, and things hit the fan. Detectives calling me, and it almost got ugly, right? So at that time, I had to take on some help. A friend of mine called me, Desiree. She said, "Hey, is that you on City Hall?" And da 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 da. I said, "Yeah, that was us." She said, "Oh, well, we're going to have to apologize. Let me get an apology letter drafted up." I was like, "Thank you." Someone to the rescue. So we kind of, we helped fix everything, developed for some relationships. And now they just say, ask for permission. But the only thing to that is because there's no industry, there's no real format on how to go about it, right? So I can ask for something that I may need. And we're trying to film, like we don't have a big budget. People are volunteering. So I'm pretty much on their time. So I have to go when they're available. And if I ask for permission, because there's no format, they want me to wait 3 weeks to a month for a response. And I'm like, I don't have that time, right? So a lot of times we have to improvise and make do with what we have, right?
Let me tell you, I was on the receiving end of some of this. I'm like, what in the entire is going on? And then when you talk about you blew up social media, the internet, and everybody, like I think you made the news.
Yeah.
It was like
I know, I remember it. I do.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So with saying that, like, how can we continue to nurture the talent that we have, nurture the business, and even the mindset of the island of what it is that you guys are doing and who others other people may want to do?
Well, first, I think we have to start off by supporting. There's no doubt that I've trailblazed this. Literally walked through a field with a machete, and I'm the trailblazer as it comes to this. I've met some individuals who have gone to school for film and directing. I've met some individuals such as Elmore from Fresh TV, Lamont, and they've gave me a wealth of advice, some good advice. And even they have mentioned that they always wanted to do what I've done. And I kind of feel like they passed the torch to me because they say, hats off to you. You jumped in. You actually did it, right? And these are people who have been in the business for quite some time. We all know Fresh G. You all would know Lamone, who's actually on Channel 82, right? So because of that, we have to support the business. By supporting it, it would then in turn give those that's aspiring to do it, they would see the support and say, okay, that's an avenue I could take that I wouldn't mind taking. If they don't see no support in it, they're going to be like, well, why? They're not going to support me. They don't support him. So we can start off by that, by supporting. Also, there's kind of like a myth that, oh, it's Bermudian produced, it's produced in Bermuda by Bermudians. And we kind of give it the thumbs down before we even give it a chance. I've had a lot of people tell me that when I heard it was a Bermudian show, Bermudian-based show written by Bermudian, I really didn't give it a chance. And then finally, someone, after enough buzz, right, someone told them to check it out, and they watched it, and they ended up binge watching. I've heard that a number of times, that a lot of people didn't even give it the chance. So I would say to inspire those that want to follow my footsteps, we have to first start by supporting the trailblazer.
Awesome. And it's
quick, Sherry. Hold
sorry.
on. I just want to go back because Nikki Michelle said something that really stood out, and when he was speaking to the answer to your previous question, she said, really impressive that you've invested so much time, money, and talent into such a new genre for Bermuda Love Innovators. And here's the thing is, when we talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about creating industry, this is it. It doesn't exist in Bermuda, right? No. And it takes a lot to, take these kind of risks. These are the risks entrepreneurs take. But right. I remember Craig Kennaner. He wasn't premier for long. I think the shortest tenured premier, if we're going to be honest. And when I met with Mr. Kennaner, after he became premier, and I said, Bermuda needs to accept what it is as a tourism destination. And Morgan's Point has the opportunity to be Bermuda's version of Hollywood, a tech center, this and that. Loved the ideas. He listened. But I guess his handlers, or however you want to put it, that didn't work for them. Why do I say this? Because there are tons of movies made in Bahamas, tons of movies made in Jamaica, throughout other islands. And I know Bermuda's much smaller. But if we keep having this limited mindset that we don't have space for this, but we have space for a new hotel, that, let's be honest, hotels, there's a reason why the Elbow Beach and Fremont Southampton are not open. They don't generate the income. This industry, now people don't know, right? I actually started video production in college, right? The amount of money and revenue that this industry generates, look at Atlanta with now the Hollywood of the South, right? The amount of jobs that are created by this, brother, we've got a long way to go in this combo, but all I can say is thank you and keep breaking down those barriers. That thing in the newspaper about, whatever, that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen, needs to happen when you're doing what needs to be done so that you can create the opportunities that you need to create and that you're creating. So I just wanted to bump in there to make sure we didn't get lost on that overall point of what innovation means. Sometimes you're going to be knocked back. Go ahead. Sorry.
True indeed. No, I appreciate that, that acknowledgement. And that's a good point, because when that event happened, every news media posted it. When I did my premiere for Sincere Love Hella Right, which is the first feature film written by a Bermudian and all Black Bermudian cast, everything was in-house. I literally had to call up, and I called up those same three news media that mentioned the other incident and asked them to support this. And I think only one of them did a story on it, right? So that's interesting to mention.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that you, when you talk about Sia Spence, and then I also know Abby, putting also women, in different positions, to you can't do too much with all this.
Women get things done. I'm gonna tell you right now, women get things done, right?
Yeah. And
I
you're
was raised
talking
by my
about
mom and grandma.
Yeah, and you're talking about two, very talented women. One that is behind the scenes, one that's, in front of the camera. And so I appreciate you for doing that, because Hustlerz Paradise isn't just about, an all male,
No way.
Exactly.
As you know, as your story, as the question of the day, you mentioned if you had 100K, what would you do? Start a business. And a lot of the comments, a lot of people were saying they would start a business, right? So that lets you know Bermuda is probably 65%. 65,000. My alarm is going off. 65,000, the population, right? The majority of the people in Bermuda have more than one job. So when I mentioned the hustler, we actually created an acronym for hustle, how you survive through life every day. So a lot of people will go do their 8-hour job.
Yep.
And then when they knock off, they might go make bags, sell clothing, fix computers.
Do a morning show like this.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? A lot of us, I see Leanna, she does multiple things. She wears a couple of hats, right? So that's what I mean when we mention hustle. That's what we mean by a hustler. And the one thing that I mentioned also when we came up with Hustlerz Paradise is that you're either a paycheck away. Everyone's one paycheck away from being homeless.
Yep.
Or the most of us are. And then you're one hustle away from being rich. Right? So there's plenty of times you come up with that hustle and you're like, I know this is it. I know this is it, right? And I'm never gonna have to worry again. But sometimes when it comes to us starting a business, we're taking our life savings. We don't have our parents to gift us some money where we can try this and try that, right? You look at the guy who created Forbes magazine. His parents, that was like his 5th, 6th business. The rest had failed. And then finally Forbes magazine took off. The guys that started Yahoo, it was about a couple individuals whose family invested money in them. If I called up 12 family members in total, give me $1,000 a piece, I don't think I would get it.
No, I was just thinking about it, who I could hit up. And
Exactly. So, we take our life savings after bills is paid. Whatever we have left, we invest, right? We invest. Here you have HGO's natural spring water.
Yes.
Where can we buy it? Where can we buy it? I'm sorry.
Right now, People's Pharmacy carry it. Shout out to People's Pharmacy.
Hold on, we can stop right there. People's Pharmacy, folks. They got the brothers water. You know who People's Pharmacy are. That's our partner. They got our back.
Right. So we can leave it there. You want to pick up a couple cases, you can hit me up. I'll deliver the cases to you.
Can I see the bottle, Hafiz?
Sure. It's the natural spring water.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Branded. And even the design was done in-house, right? On Island 24/7 Inc., right? The guy did the design for the bottle.
I like this one. Hustle and hydrate. I love it. But I want to say this. I think that that to me is entrepreneurship, when you can take the risk. When not that you have the ability to, but when you take the risk, you believe, you bet on yourself. I think Sherry said earlier today, like you bet on yourself. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would, if I know that that's your water and I'm in People's Pharmacy, I will purchase that over purchasing Evian or whatever the other brands are, because I'm like, yo, this brother's taking a chance. I know what his in our community. This is supporting our community overall. So
exactly,
this is our mindset that we need to share.
Definitely.
I will now purchase it. I'm sorry. I said I will.
No, because I would say one thing, you can rest assured that you know the owner of this brand. Correct. You would never meet the owner of any other of those brands, right? And lastly, if it came down to me donating or something like that to a school, more than likely HGO is going to be on the front line, right? So help me help you at the end of the day.
Indeed, for real. And folks, don't let that go over your head. And I'll make that point a bit later. Go ahead, Sherry. Sorry, I knew you got a couple.
I was just gonna say, where else? You told us where we could find your water. Where else can we find the films? I know it's on YouTube. anything else coming out? Like what else is going on?
So
Because you got a whole in-house situation,
yeah,
like, you know.
we've kind of created a whole brand behind the hustle. So we have, you know, the
Yeah.
clothing line, we have the merch, we have the water, and we have the film. You can watch the web series on YouTube. You can capture the movie, Sincere Love Hella Right. It's a nice movie, right? Someone had called it a chick film because a couple females watched it and they cried. So so they called it a chick film. You can watch that on hustleentfilms.vhx.tv. That's on Vimeo. That's our Vimeo channel.
Okay.
Right. And it basically, just to give you a brief synopsis of that, it's the main character from the web series, Sincere. It takes you back 10 years prior to Hustlerz Paradise starting. And he was taking care of his mom. His mom was cancer stricken, and her future care insurance maxes out. And he's faced with a moral dilemma. What he's going to do, right? He's going to do the right thing or the wrong thing for the right reason, right? And we all know sometimes we play with these hypothetical questions. How far would you go? You say, well, I love you like life. Would you put your life on the line to take care of your loved one, right? And this is what Sincere, the main character, does. He literally puts his life on the line to take care of his mom, help her get her treatment. So check that out. And right now I'm in the process of working on season 2. The script is written already. We're supposed to start filming next week. We're just waiting for approval from the National Art Gallery and City Hall to give us the okay so we can start filming.
The approval process in Bermuda strikes, I swear it strikes in every aspect of any entrepreneurs. Before you go, a couple questions from the audience. Terry K is asking, have you considered entering the Bermuda International Film Festival?
I haven't, but I would. I most certainly would. That's something I would look into.
Alrighty. We do have to head out, and I'm sorry, folks, if you have questions. We're gonna have him back when the next release drops or something, but we'll definitely have him back. Look, we have a lot of people in our audience who love Christmas, right? So maybe not this year because it's too soon, but think of a little Christmas special for your Bermudian audience, because I don't know, Bermudians love Christmas. A little Christmas something from think about that for them.
And let me just say this real quick. Everyone should, come on City Hall, get the process happening. Like, what I mean?
Well, look, Hafiz, honestly, it's been a pleasure having you. Bobby Painter, I know she's watching. She has been on us since probably beginning of time. Yeah, you got to have this brother on. You got to have him. I don't schedule. I make recommendations for people. So I did see you pop up, and I was happy that you trusted our platform to have the conversation. And I want you to know this: when you have something that's dropping or something that's going on, hit us up. Let us be a vehicle, because one thing that you said, and I don't want this to be lost on people either. I've been in that situation you spoke about, where when it's something poor or bad optics, right, to report on you, it'll be front page news. It'll be the top story. Or when there's something good, when you're doing something, you're saying, hey, this is the result. This is what we're doing.
Definitely.
Even with it, if they give you the coverage, it'll be buried. That's not how we operate on this show. And that's not what we're going to do for brothers like yourself. So please know you have a friend in us, and we look forward to supporting you going forward.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks much, bro. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
All righty. Awesome conversation. Don't forget, folks, go support the work. Talented Bermudians doing it. I'll drop it again. This is it. It's hustleandfilms.vhx.tv/. So go support the brother. If you appreciated that conversation, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure you share this. We talk about Bermudians not supporting Bermudians. No. We've got to get it back. Nicole Walker says she loves it. Missing the comedy shows from Hafiz, so I got those comedy shows. This is funny. Charlotte Fox said, I saw that at the hospital. Peoples must get some when I go to work tonight while I hustle. Speaking of
yes,
make sure you head around to People's Pharmacy and get yourself a bottle of that water, folks. Support the brother. It's your community that's benefiting. You know the person behind it, as he stated. We're going to take a quick break. Then we come back. We'll wrap it up with the Daily Play, folks. This is an interesting Daily Play.
Oh God.
I
Where's
think
Karen Simmons? Come on, Karen.
it's an easy one. Stick with us, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio. Tune in every Tuesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Bermuda time as we bring you the love, romance, sexiness with nighttime jams. Only on your station for conversations and entertainment. BCG Radio. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Hafiz Steele. Don't forget, if you appreciated today's conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you go follow what he's doing on social media. Check the website out. You can see it. We dropped it in the links on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you're watching, you can find it. Thanks again to Medical Lindos, One Communications, and People's Pharmacy for continuously supporting what we do. It's time for the Daily Play now, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
Yeah, I am. Come on.
All right.
It's
a remember when, folks. Here we go. On November 3rd, 2008, Barack Obama became the first African American to be elected president of the United States.
Okay.
Who was the Republican candidate that he defeated?
Dogs. I mean, I know Joe Biden was the vice president. Who did he defeat? What's in Bill? Who was on there? I'm looking like a real auntie in it. I really hate your music, just saying it. I'm just putting it out there. Oh, John McCain, yes.
Mitt Romney, it is not. It is John McCain. It is John McCain. It is McCain. I was actually shocked that Mama Patterson, we love you. Mama Patterson, we love you.
I told you I don't test well. I need a separate room, extra time.
She's gonna put you across her knee. She's gonna put you across her knee. So,
but I knew this. I knew this.
Yeah. So the answer is John McCain. Barack Obama became the first African American president in 2008. Tomorrow would make what? What's this? 2021? 13 years? Yeah. Since that day. So yes,
but I knew that.
Yeah, she knew that, folks. She knew that. She just didn't get it right. Any final thoughts on today's show, Sherry?
My final thoughts is, gosh, obviously I probably need the 100,000 to go to school again. But no, as I say, people foster, what it is that your passions are, young, old, it doesn't matter. Foster those passions. And if that passion is to go to school, then do that. If it's to earn a business or foster, a passion that you have outside of college, do that as well. As far as Hustlerz Paradise, I love this interview. I did say to Shanta, I was like, get the hustle guy.
I have no idea who Shanta is.
Okay, sorry. So it was good. It was good to hear what it is that how making films, the film industry in Bermuda, and what that is all about. So definitely go and support him and support his movies and Bermudian talent. Support it.
So Shanta actually arranges all the guests for the show, folks. So she
sorry.
kind of is behind the scenes, and if anyone you're interested or you want to recommend someone to come on, then she would be the person that you would go to arrange it. But to Shara's point, I agree. It's no right or wrong answer to a lot of the questions. It's what's best for each individual. But we have these conversations just because some people may not know about other options. They may think there's only one way to do things. So I concur with you on that, Sherry. As far as the conversation with Hafiz, I can't say it enough. We're best when we support our own. Could you imagine where people would be without the support of, the people closest to them. Well, that's how we need to look at fellow Bermudians doing things. We need to support them. It's not about envy, but it's about, I support this person, I benefit as well. It could keep your taxes lower, keeping this kind of money in Bermuda and flowing throughout the economy. That's how we have to look at this real big picture-ish, right? So thank you to him for what the work is doing, and for Sherry for putting it forth. Again, to Shanta to make sure that we got him on. And I look forward to seeing his success. And even with Leanna sharing his information when he's got the positive things to report, so that people can know what's going on and how he's doing it. Sherry, we need some daily inspiration because we're out of time.
Wow. Daily inspiration is the struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need tomorrow. And that came from Robert too, and he's a writer. So I will take that one for tomorrow. The struggle I'm in today, hopefully I can answer a question correctly tomorrow.
She's a nut, folks. And Sherry, before we go, nice hairdo.
Thanks, Jamal. A whole day later.
I noticed it without you telling me on air.
A whole day later. I said, Jamal, you ain't noticed my hair? It's like, oh, yeah, it's always like,
She's been working on me for a while now. She's been working on me for a while. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hart. And my friends, please do make it a great and safe day. We're out.